I can't leave these things alone, guys. We're here up at Lyndon Lewis's marina at Shepperton. We're on the Lowland stand here. We've got Navico, Simrad, and a lot of gizmos and gadgets. Now, you might have seen last night's initiation into what they're producing now. Ideal for small boats, ideal for kayaks. A lot of information there. I'm back here with Craig, and he's going to show us, and this one interests me, the sort of stuff I could probably use on my boat. My boat's a 17-foot Wilson Flyer. I love it to death. Let's see if we can find out some information and drain Craig dry. I want him walking away so weak from talking to us, his knees are wobbling. So then, Craig, these two lovely looking items are really, well, they shouldn't be on here. They're no good in here. They should be on my fishing boat. Can you tell the guys why they should invest in a product like this?
Okay, so moving on from yesterday, we're going to look at the bigger range of products here. This is our HDS range, which will move on to sort of your bigger, more sort of offshore day boats. And these are available in either push button or touch screen. This is our HDS 7 Gen 2. Now these touchscreen generation 2 of the HDS series are available in a 7-inch display, a 9-inch and a 12-inch display. So depending on the size of the boat and how good your eyes are, depends on what size screen you want to go for. This one here is the 7. Nice compact little unit. Again, we have a GPS antenna built in on these. You've also got several different options with regards to sonar. So this has a sounder built in for your regular sounder. It also has our Structure Scan HD system built into it. So if you plug in one of our Structure Scan transducers, as well as our nice downscan sonars we saw on the Elite series, you also get this side imaging sonar. So we are now looking down at the seabed as if it was a book opened up. So we're actually looking overhead. So
we're basically in the middle of a channel here and reef either side. Is that how I'm seeing it?
So anything like, so if we scroll back through some of the sonar history here, anything like rocks, debris on the seabed, we're looking down on top of that. So if we see anything like a nice wreck, we're trying to work out what way the wreck lies. We can just do one run past that, and if the whole wreck's showing up on one side, we can then just start to put our cursor on the sonar screen there, and we can create waypoints at each point. So we can mark out the bow, and we can mark out the stern, and this information is then overlaid directly onto the chart itself. And you know instantly then what way that wreck lies. So when you're getting ready to set up for your drift, that's going to make life a lot easier for you.
So what is down the middle there, I see, Craig, that white line, what is that about?
So this would actually be sort of a blind spot because we're looking directly down instead of your normal sounder view. So we're actually looking out to the sides of the boat. So you can see here the range starts at 0 in the middle and goes out to 50. Now that's actually the distance out to the side.
That's in feet or meters?
That will be, at the moment, this will be set up in feet. So this will show anything, at the moment we're showing anything, so anything over here would be up to 50 or 40 feet out to that your port side.
Sure.
And this will be up to 40, 50 feet out to your starboard side. So that allows you to work out where those items would be on.
That there's a 60-foot gully, 30 and 30. That's what I'm working at. So I could be going down a channel looking for place, or on top of it, indeed on the edge of it, for a turbot on a sandbank. I want place on the top. I want turbot on the edge. I might want skate or something down the middle of the channel. So it gives you a really good definition on the seabed.
That's it, exactly. And right up close to the centre here, this would be almost, so this is actually the column of water as such. Because it's a side profile, so it's almost like taking your if we just go to the normal sonar view here, it's almost like taking this view where this is all stuff you travel past and turning that on its side like that.
Yes.
Like a book, open it out like a book,
looking down on top.
Yeah.
As it were, on top.
So it's brilliant for picking out structure and things like that, and mapping out wrecks that are on the seabed. And we can change this view as well, so we can go into the view option here, and you can choose whether you want it left and right, but also we can change it to the traditional down scan. So this would be like your normal sonar view where you have the surface here and the seabed at the bottom. So again, like on the Elite series, as we travel past anything like wrecks or debris, you're going to see, as you can see here, nice, really clear, almost photo quality image of it.
It's almost sort of 3D, isn't it, when you look at it? You know, compared with a standard sounder, which is just almost what I call flatline. You know, it's just it does a lot of definition there.
And the key to why this image is so crisp is because of the frequency that's operating at 800. So this image is refreshing 800 times a second, which is what gives it that really clear definition.
And what sort of depth would this sounder run down to? Can you set it at?
So probably with your side scan and 800 kilohertz, it's probably good for in salt water about 50-foot depths, and then you can change to the 455 kilohertz, which may give you a little bit better depth capability. Again, it all depends on what the bottom substitute is, so whether it's rock, mud, because again, if you have a soft seabed like silt or something like that, that's going to absorb a lot of that sonar energy, so you're not going to get as good solid ping back off of that.
Won't come back so much.
Whereas if you've got good solid rock bottom, then you're going to get a good solid return off of that.
Now Craig, on my boat I was running once and I lost a signal which I thought I was going too fast, because obviously the faster you go I don't think you get such good definition, and my pal altered the ping speed. As you were saying, if you run over too fast and you've got a slow ping speed, by the time it comes back up the boat's gone, and he increased the ping speed and I got better definition. Is there any truth in that or not?
Yeah, I mean that's it exactly. On a lot of these boats now, I mean you've got guys on these day boats which they're running boats which could do 60 mile an hour to get out to their fishing spots extra quick, but that is the problem. Is once you get up to these high speeds, the problem you were seeing, the way you altered it was to adjust that ping speed. Well, also what you do have with these high speed boats is quite the most common problem is when you start getting up on the plane, you've got a lot of aerated water that's travelling under the boat. Now any air that you get, that will break the sonar signal. So the transducer, the sounder waves need to travel through a liquid media. They won't travel through air. So when you do get up to speed and you've got all this aerated water, that can sometimes break the signal. But what you'll find is as you start to throttle back and you come off the plane, it should then find that signal and lock onto the bottom again.
What sort of speeds would you say this unit operates best at to get the best definition? You want obviously a slower speed, 6-8 knots, something like that?
It's actually to get the better speeds is actually to do with the type of transducer you go and also the installation, because it can vary from boat to boat. You've got boats where you might have stepped hulls. They're going to be they're known for, because the design of them, they actually draw air in to make the boat go faster. A lot of the mounted transducers, they will drop out. They'll probably start to drop out around 20 knots. To get the best sort of speeds and maintain that sounder reading, a lot of people will go for these big through hull mounted transducers where you have to drill a hole through the bottom of the boat.
Oh dear.
And then you have what we call a fairing block which sits around that transducer, and that creates a nice streamlined profile for the water to travel over, so it maintains a much better lock on, and you probably like to get up to about sort of 30 knots on some
really
boats.
yeah.
But the main problem is on the smaller boats, because there's not a great deal of boat in the water when you are travelling at speed. It is going to drop out, but it's nothing to worry about. It's not broken. It's just a case that once you start to slow down, you'll get that good clean flow of water over the transducer and your signal will come straight back. So with the HDS series, the one big difference between this and our Elite series is these units are networkable. So if you have 2 or 3 of these on a boat, you can daisy chain them together and they will share information. Like you can have one chart card in there which is shared between the 2. And also these will also do things like radar. So you could link it in with one of our broadband 3G or 4G radomes, and they'll give you a nice radar overlay on the chart. So we have the chart pages here, so you can use the unit as a plotter when you are travelling out to your spots. And these have also got video inputs. There you can also display engine information, because a lot of the modern day outboard manufacturers and inboard manufacturers now are outputting their engine information on what we call NMEA 2000.
Oh, that's right, yep.
So we can get all our fuel consumption and revs and trim and things like that displayed on the plotter here.
Now, Craig, mine is the manual one, like this one down here, exactly the same configuration of buttons, etc. Looks like I'm going to fall in love with one of these touchscreen ones, but small boats are invariably shark fishing, bottom fishing, sea fishing, mackerel, squid, ragworm, lugworm. It's messy, it's on the fingers, it goes everywhere. Sandwiches, flask, screen. What about the screens? Are they pretty durable in that respect?
They are very, yeah. I mean, we know that's what these units are going to be used for. So we make sure that the glass on these screens is super durable, so that it's complete scratch resistance. But also we make sure that the key buttons are all of a decent size proportion. So you're not trying to hit the smallest of buttons to try and select something on the screen. You've got good, big, clear keys that you can press on the touch screens. So one of the key functions that we still maintain on the touchscreens, as you can see, we've still got a few key buttons on the side here. So we have the mark waypoint button, and we also have a zoom in and zoom out. So when you are on your chart as such, on your map page, it's just a nice simple quick key press, so we can press and hold that and it will zoom in and zoom out for you. And then we've got a pages option here to take you back to your main menu where you have your big large keys for selecting your different options like your sonar.
What would you clean that screen with, should you need to clean it?
Just water and a soft cloth. And we actually supply, with the touchscreen models, we supply a nice Lowrance branded screen cloth, and just a bit of fresh water just to wash the screen off. You don't need to be using any abrasive. And that should just wipe clean. The units are all fully waterproof, so they'll take a nice dousing with a hose if you want to get all the salt spray off them. But we also do offer you the HDS in the push button range as well. So I mean, with these compared to the touchscreen, it's a little bit more clunky, because on a touchscreen you're selecting the option that you want to change, so it's a little bit more user friendly. But once you get used to your button presses, it's pretty simple with the push buttons. So we have pages, which takes you back to sort of a home screen where you can then cycle through the different options that this unit will display. So you can select whether you want radar, and then we can go down and just build our combinations. So here we've selected radar and chart, which is what it will display, or radar and sonar. So there's lots of things that these units do. They are fully multi-purpose. So again, with these units, we have a nice little chart card on the side here, which takes a regular size SD. These units again we call it dual fuel, so they can be used with Navionics, CMAP, or Navico's Insight Genesis mapping. So that gives the users, because not everybody likes to use, they have their own specific taste in charts. They don't like to change between products. And so with the bigger units as well, what we have is some of them will have 2 SD card slots, so you can have your chart. And for those that are going out and logging lots of sonar information, because remember, we can log this sonar data so that we can blow it up, view it on the PC, and also use it with Insight Genesis to create our own charts.
Insight Genesis is the subscription that you can do, yeah?
That's it, yeah. So that with that logged sonar data, we can then go and produce our own detailed contour maps, which the fishing guys will use because they can get things like detailed bathymetric area. But also your leisure users will use it because they can use it to go and survey their own little anchorage areas. So they can record the sonar data, create a much more detailed contour map than might necessarily be available through their normal chart product. And that will show areas where there's holes, areas where there's vegetation like weed and kelp, and also rocks as well. And
I can see there, even on the camera, you've obviously got a night for night usage there. It was nice and clear and bright even in the dark.
That's it, yeah. So you can really tone the backlights right down, so because obviously at night time you don't want to be dazzled by this. You want to be focusing on the water and not be blinded by the brightness of the screen. So if you need to adjust the backlight on any of the units, just simply press the power button, and then we can go through and select the brightness here and really dim that right down if we want to. Also on some of the units, if we just briefly press the power button, once we select that, and we can press it again, and it's got several automatic backlight settings, but you can see we can dim that right down so you're not being blinded at night time. So the HDS, the screen sizes, the biggest we do is the 12-inch and the HDS Touch. Again, with the HDS series, they are multi-function. So we can see here on our main menu, we have an option for charts, we have an option for sonar, structure scan for the side imaging sonar, and then we've also got the option to connect in radar. So you can connect in one of our broadband radomes, and then we can paint a picture of everything that's around us, so you might not necessarily be able to see when you're out offshore and you get caught out in the fog and things like that. Now, these broadband radomes that we do, they are it's a very unique technology. They don't have a magnetron in them, so there's no harmful rays that are emitted from them, so you could stand there with this thing in front of you and the radiation from it isn't going to affect you.
I can still have 12 kids, as they say.
That's it, yeah. And they're very good, very low power as well. So for your sailboat users, they don't always have an engine running to charge the batteries on their boat. But with the plotter and the radar running at the same time, they probably draw a maximum of about 3 amps, so it's nothing. So with the radar here, we can see we've got our different range rings here. Now these are fully adjustable, so we can go through, and if you want to change the range of these, you can set those to your preferred, so you can have them, so each range is 1 nautical mile or half a nautical mile, and that's a configurable setting. We also have the ability to set up guard zones. So what that will allow you to do is choose the shape of the guard zone, and then we can actually start to actually go through, and you can, with that guard zone, you can set either a full circle, half circle, and also the distance of that guard zone. And what that will do is when a vessel, if you're sat out there drifting, if there was a vessel was to come into that zone, you would then get an alarm from the plotter to say there's a moving target that's coming towards
almost
you.
like an anchor drag. You know, you can put on the standard ones, you know, to
Yep.
you know, if you drag an anchor and you're not sure of it, you've got no landmarks, an alarm goes off after 100 feet, 50 feet, whatever you set it at.
That's it, exactly, yeah. So we can see here we've got the circle, so we can adjust whether you want it a full circle, we can adjust the depth of that guard zone. Obviously you don't have to have it all the way up. If you only want to concentrate on what's coming from far away, then anything that's in that area will give you an audible alarm.
That's good, that's good. And what sort of prices, you know, are we looking at? 2013 sort of, we're late 2013, what do these run out, that particular large unit?
So the largest unit here would probably set you back at about probably about £2,500, and that's, again, that's got everything on there. You've got your structure scan sounder built into them, as well as your regular sounder. With the push button variants, you don't have that structure scan sounder built in, so you'd actually have to buy the module separately, which then plugs into the back, and then your transducer plugs into that module.
So a unit like this would be looking at more the charter boat industry, something like that. You know, people that are earning a living from it, they want really good kit. Obviously, it might be invested £100,000 in a boat. They're going to need a couple of 3,000 to invest in a decent, you know, electronic fish finding, etc.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. And then for as well as Lowrance is part of the Navico family. We also have Simrad, which is also used within the fishing market.
Craig, thank you very much for that. I'm drawn somehow to this one. That's the one I'm drawn to. Who knows? Will it ever find its way onto High Sea Drifter?